few days ago, I watched the movie Decision to Leave. I didn't have time to review it because I was experiencing a post Vampire-thon hangover, but now I'm ready to talk about it, and I think that's kind of a good thing too, because I think it took a lot of time for this movie to ferment and marinate in my brain. This movie was directed by Park Chan-wook, who is probably one of the best filmmakers working right now, and everyone's kind of sleeping on him. Made Old Boy, great movie. I just reviewed one of his movies on my channel during the Vampire-thon. Thirst, I thought was amazing. Lady Vengeance, just tons of great movies. Here he comes with Decision to Leave. The Oscars are kind of going on this trend now of giving praise to a overseas movie every year with Parasite and Drive My Car, and I really feel like this is going to be the movie to do that this year. This is about a detective investigating the death of a man who died while rock climbing, and he starts to develop this kind of weird relationship with the widow of the man who died. Park Chan-wook kind of dabbles a lot with American genres. Old Boy is kind of like your classic revenge film, no different from a Death Wish. And this is no different in the sense that this is a classic film noir. Dare I even say Hitchcockian? That word makes me cringe. But it does really feel like a classic film noir. The main character kind of dons this trench coat. These film noirs, they always have the protagonist have some kind of disease. In Sin City, he's always like taking his pills. He's like, oh, my seizure medication. And it's kind of done similarly in this movie, where a character is constantly putting eye drops in his eyes. I really felt like I was watching a classic film noir, and not only because of the visual aspect of the film, but because of the content matter itself. This is a very detective-style film. At certain points, too, I felt like I was watching an 80s buddy cop movie. There are certain moments that are actually quite funny in this movie. More funny than other of his movies that I've seen, which I thought really worked. The humor in this movie really worked, and my theater was kind of laughing along to it as well, despite a language barrier, which is kind of hard to do. All the humor was done visually. But what's really fascinating about this movie, it's definitely its narrative. The way Park Chan-wook just takes you on a roller coaster and constantly leaves you guessing, pulling you in different directions. 1 second you're here, 1 second you're there. It's no different from his other movies when it comes to that. He always has a way to keep you on the edge of your seat just by the narrative. And these characters constantly going back and forth. One character is constantly backstabbing another one, and you're just like, how is this character, what's this character gonna do next? What's going on? And you're trying to piece this movie together as you're watching it. It really works. I feel like there's kind of this uptick in these kind of detective movies lately. You got Knives Out coming out with a new movie soon. You have See How They Run, which was a new movie, didn't do too well, but I still plan on seeing it. All of these Agatha Christie style movies are coming out, and I think this is definitely one of the best of that trend that I've seen. Again, I haven't seen all that many, but if you want like a true good whodunit Agatha Christie style noir film, this is definitely going to deliver on that. This is definitely a fun time at the theaters because you're constantly guessing, and it truly brings you in directions you wouldn't expect, which is what you look for in a good film noir. The movie runs at over 2 hours. I'd say it's about 2 hours and a half. Never a dull moment to me. And there's a point in this movie where they do a time jump, and I was expecting the time jump to kind of affect the pacing of the film. Not at all. I really enjoyed the whole runtime of this movie. I was thoroughly entertained the whole time. That said, I feel like the fact that it's so reliant on twists and turns, that there's so much pulling in every direction, I feel like it kind of gave me whiplash after a while. And because I was constantly trying to guess what was the director's next move, I kind of lost track of what these characters were, and most importantly, what the point of the story was. This movie kind of gave me a Gone Girl vibe, but the thing Gone Girl does well is that, yes, there are a lot of twists and turns in the movie, but it's ultimately a movie about media narratives, and how the media can constantly twist some things or twist people's perceptions of a certain incident. That was the point of Gone Girl. And in this movie, there is a theme in there, but it's not as hard-hitting as you would get in a Gone Girl or a Seven or some of the greatest film noirs out there. There's kind of this overall theme of disconnect, You have the protagonist who's in a loveless marriage, and he constantly goes home at night, and he doesn't really connect with his wife. He sleeps in his car a few times. He doesn't really gets out of bed at night. At the beginning of the movie, he commits to having sex with her once a week, but that kind of falls to the wayside as the movie progresses. And then you have a love interest in here who's kind of just killing for sport, who's kind of just killing to get that kind of dopamine rush. And the movie is filled with shots of POVs from a telephone screen, and there's a lot of texting going on in the movie. And I feel like the director is trying to suggest that this new internet age is ultimately leading to depression and kind of this social disconnect between people. But I feel like the movie could have developed upon it a bit more and made it fit the genre of the film a little more. I feel like genre cinema is really good for highlighting some of the problems in our society. Film noirs, like I said, with Gone Girl, but even horror movies, which he's dabbled with before, and action movies, which again he's dabbled with before. I just feel like this movie, I didn't understand why this theme needed to be told this way. And for that reason, it doesn't have as much staying power as other of his movies. That said, this director is so amazing that even a movie that doesn't connect with me as much is still a great movie. So, and I plan on rewatching this tons of times, and probably my rating will go up as I rewatch it. I went to the theater to watch it with a few friends. One of my friends was watching it for the second time, and another one of my friends was watching it for a third time. So this is definitely the kind of movie that the more you watch it, the more you get in, the more you're going to get invested with, which is the kind of movies I ultimately enjoy. I like a movie with a lot of repeat value. Just for now, I feel like that's how I feel about the movie, but my thoughts may change with repeated viewings. This is definitely one that needs to ferment a lot. I use the term fermentation interchangeably with growing appreciation. What can I say? I'm a kombucha hipster douche. Alright guys, take care. Are you going to watch Decision to Leave? What's your favorite Park Chan-wook film, if you know any? And comment below and let me know, and I'll see you guys around. Take care.